If Anthony Albanese is serious about social cohesion, well, the first thing he should do is sack the Race Discrimination Commissioner. Because if uniting the country is the goal, well, it's hard to see how paying a public servant $400,000 a year to preach division is part of the plan. Have a listen to our taxpayer-funded Race Commissioner holding court on our taxpayer-funded broadcaster explaining to taxpayers that they are in fact squatters.
January 26th is such a conflicted day. And for me, as a migrant from India, I was born in India, I came here when I was young. I feel very conflicted when I think about January 26th because I think, what are we celebrating? We're all on stolen land and we actually need truth-telling about the history of this land.
If Giridharan Sivaraman genuinely believes we are all living on stolen land, well, a simple question arises. Why is he still here? If we accept Sivaraman's assertion that Australia is stolen land, consider the difference between most of us and him. Most of us were born on this allegedly stolen land, but he's an Indian immigrant. He arrived here with his parents and has now made his home on what he says is stolen land. Yet he dares to moralise. Give me a break. And if Australia Day is such a conflicting day for Australia's Indian-born Race Discrimination Commissioner, well, he could return to his place of birth where he can wake up on January 26 with a completely clear conscience. But wait, is a clear conscience worth surrendering a $400,000 a year taxpayer-funded salary? Apparently not. Why would you dig holes when you can sit around saying stuff like this and as your reward be among the top 1% of wage earners in this country?
When it comes to January 26, it becomes so difficult because there's this undercurrent of nationalism, the love it or leave it phenomenon, where people go, well, unless you're with us, you're against us. And so you've just got to, on January 26th, that day, you've got to kiss the flag, love the country, otherwise go away.
God forbid a flicker of quiet patriotism on the one day set aside to acknowledge the nation's existence. Next minute, people will be calling Australia the lucky country and suggesting it might actually be one of the greatest places on earth.
I still call Australia home.
We have to stop it there. I know it's a catchy tune, but that man was seconds away from calling Australia home. Oh, and if the song gave you goosebumps, then shame on you. You're probably the sort of person who would kiss the flag if you had half a chance. Funny how the Race Discrimination Commissioner frets about people kissing the flag. I spent this morning Googling people kissing the Australian flag, and I couldn't find a single one. I did, however, find this shocking image of someone clearly expressing affection for the flag. Now, I don't know who this person is, but she definitely seems to be exhibiting an undercurrent of nationalism. The Race Discrimination Commissioner needs to sort her out quick smart before she's running around in an Australian team kit trying to beat people from other nations and prove how superior Australia is. Love you, Cathy Freeman. Isn't it strange that our Race Discrimination Commissioner condemns people kissing the flag, which rarely happens, while saying nothing about people burning the flag, which was all over the news?
To bring their big boat through, the mess of all ain't no system of what's going on here.
For a second there, I was worried people were going to start kissing the ashes of the flag, but it's OK, they only spat on them. That's perfectly fine. Let's play a little game of cause and effect, shall we? Here's what the Race Discrimination Commissioner told The Telegraph when asked about Australia Day. He said, "It's a day when colonisation began, which led to First Peoples being forced off their country and onto missions and reserves, genocidal acts, massacres, systematic child removal and more." I love how he says massacres, genocidal acts and more. What's more than a genocidal act, an alien abduction? It's the rhetorical junk drawer. When you've emptied the thesaurus of horrors but still want to imply there's an even darker box in the basement. Anyway, I'm showing you because I want to prove the cause and effect phenomena, right? So here's the effect.
I hope the white genocide does happen because you guys yeah. That's all. The flag, this genocidal country.
Now, that charming young man is not saying anything the Albanese government-appointed Race Discrimination Commissioner hasn't already said. The kid is just far more succinct. If he can clean up his potty mouth, he's got a promising future in the Race Discrimination Commissioner's office. So tell me again, Anthony Albanese, how do you intend to build social cohesion while your Race Discrimination Commissioner is telling everyone that racism and lies are baked into every part of our country.
We want systems and institutions to reflect us, to be safe for us. Why don't they do that? Because they were built to really privilege colonialism and whiteness. And why were they built to do that? Because they were built to cover a lie, the lie that no one was here before.
Ah, yes, the systems and institutions of this country are so racist that they've permitted an Indian immigrant to land a $400,000 a year taxpayer-funded job lecturing all of us about racism. If people are being told by our top bureaucrats that Australia's built on stolen land, that Australia's institutions are all based on racism and lies, well, why wouldn't a bunch of them feel absolutely justified tearing down monuments, burning national symbols and chanting death to Australia? The Race Discrimination Commissioner defended his remarks, telling The Telegraph, and I quote, "It is appropriate for the Race Discrimination Commissioner to talk about the dispossession of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders of their land." To which I'd reply, well, OK then, it's also appropriate for us to talk about your house, sir, on stolen land, as you say it is. Have a listen to this.
If we're going to come together, we should come together on a platform of truth and honesty.
So the Commissioner says the only way we'll come together is truth and honesty. And then, straight-faced, he says this.
We do need education. It didn't stop 200 years ago. Aboriginal kids were being stolen from their families through state-sanctioned policy. Well, it's happening now.
Huh? Government policies are currently causing Aboriginal children to be stolen? State-sanctioned theft of kids happening now? I agree, truth and honesty are necessary preconditions for bringing the country together. But there's something that needs to happen, isn't there, before we'll get either of those two things, truth and honesty, and that's for Australia's divisive Race Discrimination Commissioner to be sacked. Let him try his hand, I don't know, at a real job, somewhere far away from the levers of power and the public purse.